He's done it!
Throws up the floater.
Oh, it's astonishing.
Pulls off three-pointer.
We are back with another episode of Off the Record, and happy holiday weekend to everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed your backyard barbecues, y'all's cookouts, your time with family and friends. I don't know how many people actually look forward to the hot dog eating contest every year, but I know it was this weekend, and Joey Chestnut was back. It was a huge deal that he returned, because I think he got disqualified in 2024 for he had a deal with a vegan meat product, and that violated his terms and conditions in participating in the hot dog eating contest. I don't know. But anyways, he's back for 2025. And of course, he won this year. He put down 70 and a half hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. So I want to open the show. Chat, we love to ask a little fun question to start the show. If you were entered into the National Hot Dog Eating Contest, realistically, how many hot dogs do you think you could put away? LaShawn, I want to start with you. Chat, chime in as well. What do you got?
Probably 3 max. After a certain point with a hot dog, and there's no condiments on those hot dogs they are eating. They are eating straight glizzies. Pause. But yeah, that you're eating a dry hot dog.
Yeah.
I would be the person that I think threw up. They ended up, I would have been like that. I would have been I can't, 3 max. And that 3 would be spread out in a whole minute or 2 minute intervals. After 1, I'd be okay, this is it. This is done. I would just look at Joey and be what are we all up here for? Right. You got it.
You got it.
You do it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. You do it.
You're good. You got it.
How many do you like hot dogs? Because some people don't actually like hot dogs.
Yeah. So I don't eat beef or pork, so you're never going to catch me eating a hot dog.
Gotcha.
But let's say that wasn't the case and I had to participate in the hot dog eating contest. I realistically think I could probably do 5. Averaging 2 hot dogs. No, wait. Averaging a hot dog every 2 minutes. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I think I could do that.
Oh, that's wow. Scary.
I think I could do that. Would I feel good after? Absolutely not.
I would feel so sick. It just looks gross when I'm watching it. I should be proud that isn't there, I hate that I can't remember his name, but isn't there one guy that was a real rival to Joey, and he recently retired from hot dog eating? I want to say he has a Netflix series, if I'm not mistaken, he was his rival.
Let me see.
And chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm almost certain he was his rival, unless this is someone else I'm thinking of.
Okay, so investigative journalism. It says there's a guy named Takeru.
Yes.
Kobayashi.
Yes, that's him. I think he has a documentary. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he has a Netflix doc on his own journey into hot dog eating.
Says he's a retired Japanese competitive eater. I didn't even know that was a thing.
When did he just look and see what he retired? I want to say he just recently retired, 2024.
See, he's got a whole Wikipedia page. 2024, yeah. He competed against Joey Chestnut.
See, I be knowing a little something.
Live stream Netflix event.
Yeah, he
Chestnut
retired
versus Kobayashi unfinished beef. Eating 83 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Yeah. That's Chestnut one. Ooh. That's a crazy.
And he's small. He has a very small frame. And I want to say in the Netflix thing, he was saying how it's his life, his life's honor to, I guess, be an eater. Pause. But yeah, you can make a job out of it.
Who knew, guys? The more you know, you can make a career out of eating hot dogs. You can make a career out of professional eating. But we kind of knew that because mukbangs are a thing now. So
it's gluttonous.
It's really gluttonous. Is. That is one of the sins that they talk about in the
We
Bible.
need to stop.
Yeah.
It's too much. I will say I am victim. I do watch people eat in the car when they're doing their reviews.
Yep.
It's something about it. I don't know what it is, chat. I don't know if it's because they're in the car, you feel like you're in there with them. Cause you're thinking about when you're in the car, when you go get food and you're let me just try this and see if it's good. And it's wow, somebody else is also actively doing this. It's something about it, but I don't like when there's like a whole tray. Like when they're in the car and they have the food tray and like they're eating like a whole meal. I'm like, decorum, decorum. We could go home
I just
to
don't
a
understand
table.
why people actively go to their cars to eat when like that they're probably sitting in their driveway.
Yeah.
They're doing it for the video. But that's a conversation for another time because I feel like we could go so deep into this. Chat, I still want to know how many hot dogs y'all think you're putting away. We got no more than 10 from Jay. I need to know how many y'all are downing because 70 and a half is crazy. 83 is even more insane.
That's a lot. How do you even prepare your stomach for that?
You literally
What
cannot
exercise?
eat. Like, there's no way he's eating days before. I don't know. I want to know. Maybe we need to get Joey Chestnut on the stream because there's got to be some type of strategy. It clearly is an extreme sport. Like, there's
Oh, and then they like smush it and
uh
and then they dip it in water.
no,
Oh my gosh, chat.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
we got to
And you
move
have to do
on.
all that to eat. No. Ew.
We got to move on. We got to move on. We've got some breaking news actually that we want to discuss at the top of the show. Chris Paul might have just announced his retirement. A clip of CP3 is circulating the internet in a recent interview he did with Jamil Hill. She asked how much longer he's planning to play, and he says at most a year. While this isn't an official retirement announcement, I think it's safe to say that we can expect him to hang it up after this year. He just came off his 20th season. He knows he's in the twilight of his career. He's not the all-star caliber player that he used to be, and I think he knows that. Last season with the Spurs, he started all 82 games. He put up 8.8 points, 7.4 assists, and 1.3 steals per game. That said, this development sets the stage for a much bigger conversation. We know CP3 was exploring new teams this offseason, and it was fair to assume that wherever he landed would likely be his final stop, right? So now, with confirmation that this will indeed be his last season, the question becomes clear. Where should Chris Paul finish his career? Lachelle, I want to pass this to you. Chat, I want to hear your responses as well. We know he's been linked to some teams. With that being said, despite the teams he's being linked to, I still want to know, like, where do you think is the best landing spot for him, given, where he's at in his career, who he is as a player, who he is off the court as well, his family life, what he wants for himself. Give me your pick. Give me your pick. Where do you think he should be going?
That's so hard because like I'm going through my mind of all the teams he's already been on. And I'm like, are we still trying to get the ring? When he declared that he doesn't want to end his career without a championship and he would play until he gets one. It's like, do you immediately try to go to a contender on a very 1 year low contract type of deal? Like, I'm trying to think, do you even sit there and say, like, let me try to go to the Lakers? Like, do I make a call? I'm thinking about his family, where they reside. I'm sure he wants to be closer to his kids. I want to say he had another interview where he recently, I think it was with Taylor Rooks at an event. And I think he was pretty much saying, like, I've missed so much time of my kids' life. And like, they're teenagers now. Like, they're growing into young adults. And like, I want to be there for it. I guess it's such a hard one because like I don't want him to go somewhere that's rebuilding. I feel like that's such a waste to who he is. Like, you are this top 5, top 10 point guard ever. And it's like you deserve to go out on a very good franchise, on a good run at least. Like, should we be putting you on a team that's still building together? Like, do you send him to Washington? Like, no, like, is it right to send you somewhere that we know won't make a deep playoff run? Like, I don't know if I have a team specifically for him, but I do hope that a team sees value in his leadership and says, hey, we want to bring you on. It's a pretty cheap deal that they're going to be getting for him. It's not like he's going to be asking for a ton of money. It's a 1 year rental. I hope some contenders call. I honestly think if I was Minnesota, I would possibly pick up the phone because they do need a point guard. You could get it on a cheap deal. He's at that point in his career where he's going to facilitate, then go for his own shots. I think he deserves to go out the right way. I will say that. And I think he deserves to go to a team that's going to make a deep playoff run and he could be able to contribute veteran leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's been linked to the Clippers, the Suns, the Hornets, and then I believe the Bucks are kind of in that conversation as well. I know that there was a report that came out earlier today that he turned down some interest from the Hornets and the Mavericks. So that kind of helps give us a little bit of a picture of what teams are in that conversation. With that being said, like you said, family is a huge part of it, and he has made some comments about that.
Mm-hmm.
His son just turned 16, his daughter's 12, his wife, is taking care of them in LA, so that's their home base. With the Clippers being, a team that's of interest, it seems like the Clippers are the most realistic option. But
Mm-hmm.
you also have to keep in mind, like you said, what is his goal? He wants to be somewhat close to home, somewhat close to his family. He said, the past 6 seasons he's lived without them. So, with that being said, LA makes a lot of sense. The Clippers make a lot of sense.
For
He
sure.
also says he wants to start. And I think with that being said, the Bucks make a lot of sense for him as
Mm.
well. I think Phoenix, the Suns could potentially satisfy both. I'm just not sure if Phoenix would accommodate his request to start because at the moment they seem pretty set on that Booker Green backcourt. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it would make a lot of sense if he were to go to the Suns too. I mean, at the end of the day, what's a charter flight? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
you
What's
make
a
a lot
charter
of
flight?
money. You make a lot of money in LA,
Yeah.
not that far, especially from some of these, options, especially Phoenix.
Yeah.
Milwaukee a little bit different, but when you make millions of dollars, I mean, like literally, you can hop on a plane super easy and be home at no time. You've been doing it for
For
the
sure.
last 6 seasons. I don't know what one more season is gonna hurt, but I'm not Chris Paul. I'm not making that decision for him. But
That's tough though. I just feel like I guess it again, he's announcing this today technically. I guess this is a formal announcement and not a formal announcement at the same time, but it's obvious that he probably hasn't thought of every single thing either. It's probably one of those things like you need to say it so you don't go back on it. Cause like for him, it's probably like if I don't answer this as honest as possible, I could go convince myself I could play 2, 3 more seasons. Cause like he's a hooper. Like you don't want to have to admit that it's over. I think Candace Parker said that when she retired. It's like you don't want to sit there and accept that the ball is done dribbling, and you almost have to tell yourself, like, no, this is it. Like, there is no going back. So I wonder for him, was it more like, let me say at most 1 year, 1 season. So like I don't start to convince myself that I could keep playing. But I think it's to your point. It's like, okay, is family the choice? If that's the case, like you said, charter flights are not a problem. Like you're rich. It's also like, are you wanting to go out on a high of your career and wanting to compete one last time? Like, I'm so conflicted. Like, we're not Chris Paul, but it's like, I would love to see him at least have one more really deep run. And I wonder if that's something that satisfies him. I mean, I'm not going to Phoenix for no deep run unless you're just going to be back with Devin Booker. But like,
true.
at this point, y'all have been apart for quite some time now. I don't think that's a big deal, but it's like I could see Clippers. I think that makes a lot of sense actually, more than probably anywhere else. But I don't know. Chris Paul, I'm sad. Like, man, we're getting to that point in the league. Like, I'm grieving. I'm grieving. I don't like it. I don't like because it's a domino. Once one says it, it's like everything starts to become really real for you. That like, oh wow, we're on like limited time with CP3, with Katie, with Steph, with Braun. Like we are on literal, just borrowed time. And it's like I just slap in the face. Like I'm grieving.
Yeah,
Gosh.
it's tough. I mean, like you said, we were watching him enter his 21st season. 21 years in the
Insane.
NBA. Look at our age. I'm 25, you're 27, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're looking at players that we grew up watching, and it's an end of an era and it sucks. But I mean, when you have a legendary career like that and a great run, like you can't be mad at it either. It's
No.
21 great seasons in the NBA. With that being said, let's look at a list of his accomplishments. He's second all time in assists, second all time in steals, top 15 all time in games. He's a 12-time All-Star, 11-time All NBA, 6-time steals leader. I want you to rank Chris Paul is top what point guard of all time? Fill in the blank.
Oh, top five for
Okay.
sure. Top
And where
five.
where is he top five? One, two, three, four, five.
One is debatable for me. I'm gonna always say Magic. A lot of people are gonna say Steph, but I just think Magic was insane. One for Magic, two for Steph. Isaiah Thomas is in there for me as well. Ooh, crap. I might put CP3 up though. Ooh. Wait. Wait.
Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a tough one.
Wait.
Chat, what do you think? While Lachelle thinks about how her answer is going to wrap up, what do you think? What do you think? CP3 is a top what point guard in the NBA?
Magic
All
1.
time. Okay.
Magic 1, Steph 2, CP. He might be 5. I might have to skip. He has to be 5.
Okay.
Isaiah Thomas at 3.
Who's 4 then?
I'm not gonna lie, it's a tough one for me. My 4 might stay empty until I think about it. Cause like that 4 is hard. That 4 is hard for me. I don't know why that's hard for me. Because like low-key, I'm a big Steve Nash fan.
Okay.
And like he kind of made that guard position different when he was out there playing his Canadian ball of it all. Like, actually, yeah, Steve Nash might be 4 for me.
Okay. So we got some people in the chat saying Stockton at 4, ? Nash, ? So you got Nash. Stockton is a good one to consider.
Stockton is a good one.
I have to go. I really agree with your list. So like when you started off, I was like, okay, I'm rocking with this. Magic at 1, Steph at 2, Oscar Robinson at 3, and I see somebody put that in the chat. Oscar Robinson, you got to go. I mean, Indiana legend.
That's a good, yeah.
Can't forget about him.
Respect.
Isaiah at 4 and CP3 5. I agree with that.
That's respect. Man, that's a tough one.
We got number 6 at best for CP3. Then who's the 5 that go before him? That's what I'm curious to know. I mean, aside from the people that we've named, like how does the list differ? We've got Jay West. Chat's throwing some good picks out there. I don't know.
You know, that's tough though, because I feel like I just disrespected one of my favorite players, Kyrie Irving. And like, I don't know, maybe Kyrie's in a whole nother tier for me that I don't even need him to be in this top 5 conversation. He's definitely top 10. But like, it's just so hard because guards, to me, it depends on what you categorize as a guard. Like, for instance, have you ever been in the debate where someone says, do you believe Steph Curry is actually a point guard? And like, I'm not going to lie, for the longest, I used to debate people down that I did not feel he was a point guard. He's a shooting guard. But the more he has transitioned in his career, you're like, nah, he's a point guard. But it's like, is it like, you know, like it depends, because some people will really sit there and say like, I don't want to put Steph in that point guard conversation because they don't see him as a point guard. So now what makes a point guard?
Now we've entered a whole nother conversation right here.
Bingo. Because then you go, well, what's the first thing that he does? And it's like, well, he shoots. And it's like, well, is he a point guard? See, you thought like it kind of gets you. He is a point guard, but it's like, I'll ask you, Bailey, what is Steph Curry's best attribute?
He's a shooter outside the arc. I understand.
Now,
I understand what you're saying.
What was Magic Johnson's best attribute?
Magic Johnson's attribute,
best attribute that people will, if anyone says what's the like.
I feel like he just defined the position. Like that's what I would like when I think of Magic as a point guard. I would say he's the one that really defined that position.
Right.
So
I'm torn because then you hear like it's hard.
Yeah. No.
Because I think pass first with Magic. Yeah. See, because I think pass first with Magic. Like I think about how the behind the backs, the transitions, the razzle dazzle, the passes. Like I don't even think about him scoring, which I probably should. See, Chad, I'll have us on a whole different little wormhole of sorts.
We've got some good like top 5s here, and a lot of people are agreeing when it comes to this Magic conversation. The best attribute was passing. Let's see. Let me look at this list real quick. We got Magic, Stockton, Nash, Isaiah, Steph. So we've got some people still including Steph in the conversation. We've got Johnson,
I like
Oscar, that. Stockton, Curry, Thomas. Okay. And then we've got, I think that's it. Wait. Magic, Steph, Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, and then Jerry West. Okay. And then maybe CP3 at 6. So we've got some people agreeing, disagreeing that CP3 might not land in that top 5. That's okay, though. I mean,
that's fair.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. But yeah, you've entered a whole new conversation with shooting guard versus point guard. What makes, I don't know. we're going to open up this debate for another stream, because that's a whole lane that we could go down. On that note, shout out to CP3, because I mean, regardless of what this conversation brews up, we know that he is definitely one of the best of all time, and he's had a very, very legendary career. So wherever he does end up, where that team may be, for what reason that may be, best of luck to him, and what looks like his last season. I want to transition into our next segment, which is Malik Beasley. Now, you might know Malik Beasley because you've been hearing him in the news a lot lately. You might know him as a player for the Pistons. You might know him for, his legal trouble. And we're going to get into the situation. He's turned into, I think, easily one of the wildest cautionary tales in the NBA. Despite making around $60 million in his career and having $42 million on the table, he somehow has ended up in deep debt, so much so that his dentist was garnishing his wages. It all seemed to start when he took out a big loan based on future earnings while he was with the T-Wolves, and things just snowballed from there. He got hit with lawsuits over everything from unpaid rent to barbershop bills to a bridge loan and marketing advances, racking up over $8 million in unpaid debt. I'm going to say that one more time, $8 million. Just when things couldn't get worse, news broke that Beasley is being investigated by the FBI in connection to a gambling probe. He hasn't been charged, but weird betting activity around his scoring started popping up back in January, right when his numbers noticeably dropped. The Pistons were ready to offer him a big contract. Like I said, $42 million on the table. And right when his numbers noticeably dropped, they pulled their offer. Not even when those numbers dropped. They pulled their offer once the investigation came out. So the league had contacted Detroit and said, hey, Beasley's being investigated by the FBI. Just thought you should know. They said, great, we're out of it. His lawyer says he's innocent and no charges have been filed. But with the NBA still recovering from the Jontay Porter scandal, teams are clearly hesitant to take a chance on him. So for now, Beasley's future in the league is completely up in the air. Kendra Perkins came on, I think it wasn't First Take. I don't know what the interview was, but he dropped a pretty big bombshell. He said he believes this is the worst betting scandal that the league has ever seen, worse than Jontay Porter. And we know how Jontay Porter ended. He is banned from the NBA for life. He also claims that Adam Silver could hit Beasley with the harshest penalty possible, and sources say Beasley could even face jail time. Chat, Lachelle, do we think the NBA is about to make an example out of Beasley?
Yes, sadly, unless everything comes out that he is innocent, which I want to say I saw on the Pat McAfee show that his lawyer made it very, very, very specific that he is not being charged, and that they want to make sure that that's talked about. Yeah. And that he does believe that he's innocent, which, I mean, again, your lawyer is supposed to do that. So yes, I do think an example is about to be made, but I think the NBA has a bigger conversation on their hands, which is you can sit there and blame the players, which sure, rightfully so, but it's kind of, you're being a little bit of a hypocrite, I think, because when I turn on the TV during NBA games, it's ESPN Bet. I mean, no offense to LeBron, but he also has partnerships in things with sports betting. You look on, you look on NBA and TNT, Chuck Sports Bet, you can't. I get it. You want to regulate it. The NFL saw this, where you saw them try to get a handle on it very quickly. And I think it scared a lot of them. And we haven't had sort of a conversation about that. But I think the NBA has to look at what they're advertising. So sure, I can blame the guys. I can say that's very irresponsible because you know the rules. But we're living in a landscape now where the NBA is endorsing it. So for him, at least, this sounds like a bigger issue of money and other things that I think the betting of it all isn't really the whole issue. Yeah. That's a whole nother set of things. Once you're not paying your dentist and all of that, and, wages are getting garnished and you're a millionaire, those are deeper conversations of debt and allocation and how you kind of handle your finances. But in the sports betting lane of it all for the league, Adam Silver has to understand, where do you want your league to stand on this? Because if you're going to sit here and give harsh penalties for this, you got to reel back this whole promotion that you're doing every 5 seconds on the NBA and bet on the game. We saw it during the NBA finals, all of the stuff on the court. you're broadcasting it. So you kind of can't be it's kind of just contradictory. Like, sure, give him the boot. Y'all shouldn't be betting, but one of the biggest players in our league is also having a sponsorship and a partnership deal that encourages betting. But like, we're in the wrong. I just think they need to figure out what their stance is going to be completely on it before giving out penalties. But I do believe Malik Beasley is about to be made an example out of.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately for him, like you said, like the debt is another part of his situation that he's going to have to deal with separately outside of whatever consequence he ultimately faces. I do think that because the feds are involved, like
serious.
Yeah, it's like once you get to that point, you're past speculation. You got the FBI on you. So it's like, I know you haven't been charged with anything and everything's quote unquote alleged, but I don't know. Like you got FBI.
That's scary.
I want to hear those 3 letters together. So I think, like somebody said in the chat, he might be cooked and we might not see him play again, which is unfortunate because once you, I mean, I know you're in debt and everything, but like 60 million, you've made 60 million in your career and you thought betting was the way to get out of that. Like,
dang. Oh, look, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, Malik Beasley. God dang it.
It's just hard to have like, it's hard to feel bad for him. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm struggling, or it's like, yeah, bro, like that sucks. But we've seen this before. That's the other thing too. Like, was Jonte Porter not a good enough example or warning for you?
No.
Because this happened last year, and we saw Jonte Porter's punishment get handed out last year. So it's not like it's a situation where, you know, you were doing this at the same time or you were doing this before and you got caught later. No, we've seen the extreme consequences. We've seen what can happen. And you still actively choose to do that. And it's like, you know that your name is going to be going through a list, the FanDuels, the DraftKings, the ESPN bet, whatever, the casinos, like they're looking to make sure you're not doing it. Your friends aren't doing it under, you know, a different name. Your number, whatever 3rd, 4th, 5th phone number that you have isn't, you know, tied to something. Like, I just don't understand how they think they can get away with this. So, like I said, I just think, I mean, like, he's cooked. He's cooked.
Oh, no, yeah, it's not looking.
No coming back from
it's not looking great. I don't know. Have you seen the clip of him on a stream with a streamer? I forgot his name, but he was like talking to him. This is, I don't know how long ago this stream was, but he was like, oh, how do you feel about sports betting in the league? And he like starts kind of talking.
Yeah.
And somebody like in the comments was like, you could tell he was finna like let it fly. Like he was about to say everything that you could. He's like, you know, it's just crazy. You know, the fans, like the parlay. And somebody was like, boy, he was about to tell you how to get paid. Like he was about to let it. And he kind of like caught himself. Like he looked at the camera and just was like, man, it's crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You about to let loose.
Like, yeah, you can't ignore it. Yeah, you're right, though. If FBI is involved,
you're done. You're done. The FBI isn't going to, I mean, I think the only reason that the news came out that he was under investigation is because he was about to get that contract. Otherwise, I don't know if we would know about it. But it's like once that news is made public, they've got a case against you. Like there's really no getting out.
For sure.
You know what I mean? A federal bureau investigation.
Yeah.
A federal. Federal. Yeah, bro, I'm sorry. You're done.
Dang.
You're done. 42 mil on the table too. Like that's the crazy part. Somebody in the chat said also Malik had that other situation a couple years ago, right? Good riddance. He did get arrested for something. I don't remember what it was. It has nothing to do. Yeah. So I remember there's like people started once the news drops, people started throwing his mugshot up and it's completely unrelated.
Where have I been? I did not know Malik Beasley was out here.
Yeah.
Like this.
Let me see. He was arrested for pointing a gun at a family that parked their car outside his house. I just want to go look, but yeah, that has absolutely nothing to do with this. That's I don't have words for that.
I'm sorry, Tess.
It's not funny.
Chat, I am not laughing at the situation, but Tess, Woo, boy, that is. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is not great. This is
No,
not great. This is not good.
no, no.
I did not know this. What?
Yeah. Someone else in the chat said only way to get away with it is to set up a homeless person or one of those PFF grid people who have been disconnected for years. Only way.
Why do you know that? Why do you know that? Why do you know that? Why? Why? Why do you know that?
At Mitch the God 86 has clearly been funneling some money for
Wait a
some
minute.
NBA players before.
Wait a minute. You gave too much detail too quickly. Why do you know this?
We don't need any NBA players getting any more ideas. Let's not. At least have somebody else say it. I mean,
I don't.
plenty of other athletes have done way worse without any real repercussions too, to be fair. That's fair. I mean, there has been way worse without that's a good point. And I've talked about this plenty of times before where the punishments that the league hands out are really inconsistent. I feel like banned for life because of sports betting, but you have somebody who can go, I don't know, commit sexual assault and they're like a 20-game suspension. Yeah, exactly. Like the punishments are super inconsistent. So it is interesting, like what's the league's what do they deem truly important? You would think that it would be
sports betting.
Yeah, sports betting.
The lives of women are not that important.
Not that important, clearly.
No, not for a lifetime ban. Even though if there's evidence and things of that nature and extensive reports of it, it's like, I mean, we have the whole video of Jackson Hayes and his girl at the time going through their thing, and I don't think anything happened to him. I think he just took a sick day. And they were like, oh, he's out for like a game or two, and then he was back like nothing happened. Yeah. But sports betting, that parlay, that gets you out this league, boy.
You're done, buddy.
The No Betting Association, okay? Get out, okay?
NBA stands for No Betting Association. I've never heard that. That's accurate, though.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Priorities, man. I don't know. Like I said, you know, whatever happens to Malik Beasley is whatever happens. I don't got any remorse for him. You make too much money to be gambling. You make too much money to be in debt. I'm sorry you didn't handle your money the right way, but you chose the wrong way to get out of it.
You could just go to the casino, blackjack, poker table. You know what I'm saying? Like,
could have.
You're like, he could have, but he didn't, Michelle. Nothing else. We are giving no leeroom, no grace. It shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, that's not what he did.
Hindsight's 2020. Hindsight's 2020, and he chose to go the wrong direction.
Yeah, Bailey cutthroat. Y'all better never get caught with a bag of money and then y'all go do something, boy, because she is showing no grace. She's like, you're rich? Oh, no, not you. No sympathy. No. Why would you do that? So chat, you know what? Y'all better not cross Bailey. She running a tight ship over here, okay? Okay.
Hey, I'm standing on business. That's all I gotta say.
You're mad because I'm standing on business.
Hey, now I know the reference. I saw the Justin Bieber clip right after.
He was standing on business. You mad because I'm standing on business?
And he was.
Yes, JV, we're mad because you're standing on business right now.
I'm dead. All right, we're gonna pivot on to our next segment of the night, and it's still in relation to the NBA, but it's NBA free agency. We are off to a really hot start this summer. I want to run through a list of who we think are the biggest winners and losers so far. Chat, you're going to play along with us. We love games here at Off the Record, so we're going to play a little game. So we want you to join. We're going to go through these names. We want to hear your thoughts. So tell us if you think we're right or wrong. Rules of the game. You have to answer with a simple winner or loser and give me a brief why. We're going to start off with the Houston Rockets. Lachelle, winner or loser?
Winner by far. You get KD. KD alone gives you the winner.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Yeah. KD, they got Dorian Finney-Smith, who I think is an upgrade over Dylan Brooks. They got Clint Capella. They re-signed Van Fleet.
They're stacked.
Yeah.
Other than not having a bench, really, but hey, if you could drop about 100 points or so every game, kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Chat, winner or loser, I think we all kind of agree that it's a dub for them, but I still want to hear your opinions on it. We got the Indiana Pacers, winner or loser?
Crap. I want to say tie, but that wasn't an option.
It's not. Winner or loser?
I'm going to say loser.
Okay. Why?
Only because I'm thinking that I'm not going to count next season for them. So
Okay.
I feel like this upcoming season is a loss in a sense. I think they understand, like, are we really going to be in contention? You know, we're dealing with Hallie right now. You did get a lot of money off of your cap, which is great. But I still feel like now they're kind of in limbo just a little bit because of the injury. And it's just like you can't make too many moves because of that as of right now. But loser just because I know that next year is going to be really tough for them to contend. That's the only reason.
Okay. As a Pacers fan, this is probably going to come off as like a really out there take, but I'm going to say winner.
Okay.
And I talked about this on my page a little bit earlier in the week. The Pacers timeline is not next year anymore, and you touched on this. Hallie's out for a minimum 1 year recovering from his Achilles injury. Typically, it takes a player about another year after to really come back. So it's like you're not looking at, playoff post, season deep run for them probably till 2027, 2028 realistically.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you want Turner to age another 2 years into a big contract? I mean, I know people are mad at the Pacers for being cheap, but honestly, I think it was a good idea on their part to not pay him and let him go. Now go to the Bucks. I don't know if that was the right decision given that they're divisional rivals, but I mean, from the Pacers' perspective, they did get a center this week. They got Jay Huff. And I know the biggest concern about Miles Turner is that he was a center that could shoot threes. And, are you going to be able to find another guy that can do that? Surprisingly, Jay Huff could be that guy. He shoots about 40% from the three. Turner was shooting 36.2. So I think this is honestly a really good pickup for them and fills a gap that they're missing in Turner. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I think winner, honestly. Chat's saying loser. Chat's agreeing with you for sure.
It's just hard. It's hard for me to see the winner. It's because of Hallie. I think, unless that's just such a big loss, and to go almost the whole season, you're pretty, like you said, the timeline. He's not going to be back in time to where. But I do think getting rid of Miles Turner, not necessarily because of talent, but because of the money of it all and the luxury tag and all of that, I think that's a win. That was a great decision in the long run that you definitely see the benefits of later on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, that's the thing. Pacers will win long term, and somebody said that in the chat. Short term, no. I mean, like I said, Hallie's out. It's not looking at next season or really the season after that for them. It's in the distant future. But yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, they're in an unfortunate situation with how the season ended for them. But it is what it is. What can you do? Next on our list is the Atlanta Hawks. Winner or loser?
Huge winner. That organization sat there and said, Trae Young, you are going nowhere. We're going to give you everything that you need. We need more dynamic wings. We're going to give you some more shooters. You get Luke Kennard. You sit there and get Nickeil Alexander Walker, of all people. They drafted very well, as well as robbed the Pelicans. Don't even get me started with that. They have built a squad, and because the East is about to be wide open because of all these injuries, big winner. Big winner.
Outside of the Texas teams, I don't think there is a better team I don't think there's a team that's having a better offseason than the Hawks are. The sign and trade for Nickeil Alexander Walker was the icing on the cake, in my opinion. They've built a defensive-minded roster around Trae Young, and the Hawks, I feel like, should be in the mix for a top spot in the East next season as a result.
For sure.
Kat, what are y'all saying? We got a winner. Yep. All right. We agree. Let's move on. The Lakers. Lachelle, you got this team in your backyard. What do you think? Winner or losers?
Losers. That front office has done nothing other than sell the team over to somebody else. Simple.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Aiden. No disrespect.
Yeah.
You sat there and went and got a center. When AD sat there and said the same thing, he said, just get me a center, and y'all shipped the man off. Just to go get Aiden. You know what? Loser. Big loser. Big loser.
Yeah. I know they got their center, but I think halfway through the season, Lakers fans are going to look at Ayton and realize they hate him, unfortunately. I think the Lakers would have been better off getting a guy like Jared Allen or even like Daniel Gafford and keeping Finney Smith on a long-term deal. But Hey, they did what they did. So loser, big loser, big
L.
loser.
L's in the chat.
L's in the chat. Aiton is not him. Yeah. Aiton's not. There
No.
was even some reports. I know the Pacers were interested in him, and I think around the time that report came out, there was something that the Suns had said about him and just his work ethic. I forget what the exact quote was, but yeah, there's a lot of question marks around Aiton, and I don't see this panning out really well.
He hasn't been right since that finals against the Bucks. He hasn't been right since then. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Something that finals broke something in him. I don't know if it's because all of us were like, are you not trying? Like, are you not competing? Like, I don't know. Something in that finals did something to him. I haven't figured out what that is. But Chad, if you go back and look at those highlights, just type in Aiton finals and watch what I'm saying. You're going to look and say, dang, like what? It took a complete 180.
Yeah. L's in the chat for the Lakers. That's what I got to say. L's in the chat for the Lakers. All right, we got next on the list the New Orleans Pelicans. Winner or loser?
Winners of no, losers.
Yeah.
I was gonna try. Chad, I was gonna try so hard. I couldn't even bring myself to do that. I'm so sorry. I was gonna sit there and fake it for y'all. Losers.
Losers, yeah. My question is like, what's the plan there? Like, what's the direction in New Orleans? And if you can answer that, like, you're doing better than me because I don't know what we got. They got Looney, and it's like cool. You got a center, which was an issue for y'all, but you spent a lot of money on him for what I would say is no clear upgrade. So as a result, I'm saying losers for that reason. We got big losers in the chat. Yeah, Pelicans won. Yeah, Pelicans won.
They drafted well. I will say that. I do think they drafted well.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I don't like the pick that they gave up.
Sure.
That pick, the more I'm thinking about it, that actually they kind of gave up their future, which is like kind of absurd. And like this just makes me think the Hawks really are winners because they really, geez, Louise, they really got that. What is that? 2026 unprotected first round pick now. I think for the trade that they had with Derek Queen, 20. Y'all are big. Like your future is gone.
Yeah.
You got Jordan Poole though. I think our response said it all.
All right. Yeah. I think we can all agree. I was in the chat for the Pelicans. We were also getting some Zion is not him. Zion is.
He's getting traded soon. Don't you? That's why I think Joe Dumars, that's why he's sitting there doing what he's doing because he's going to get some draft picks back. I am predicting mid-season Zion Williamson will not be a New Orleans Pelican. I don't believe he will not end the season as a New Orleans Pelican. I don't believe that.
Hot take of the day.
Chad, tell me if I'm wrong or right, but I think we're getting there.
Clip that. It's going to live on the page. We're going to come back in about 5 months.
A few months.
See, yeah. So we're going to see if that's accurate or not. We're going to see if that's
get your picks back. That's how you get your picks back. That's how you get your future back.
Fair enough. Last on the list, we got the Milwaukee Bucks. Winner or loser?
Loser.
Okay. Why?
I don't understand the direction that they're going either. And I think that's why I'm confused. And I get it. I understand getting Miles Turner. It's just very expensive. Very expensive that you feel like this is it. This makes, we all just watched the finals. So I'm like, was he worth this type of money? And then obviously you end up waiving Dame and you still essentially have to pay him that money as well, which some people say it was a good financial decision for the Bucks. In a sense, I'm kind of like, I guess, sure. But other than that, what else are you adding to this team that's going to be able to contend for a championship? I feel like it's just, I don't know. It's just nothing to it that's moving me. I'm not moved, Chad. I just feel like for the Bucks, they are in the loser spot right now for me.
Yeah, I would say loser as well. Someone in the chat says winner if they keep Giannis. I agree with that. I think the whole situation happening with Dame leaving, Miles joining is okay if they are simply trying to satisfy Giannis and keep him there, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a toss-up, and I know the rules of the game is it's either winner or loser. So I'm going to lean towards loser, and I say loser because of the money that they are spending on Dame. I know you're doing wave and stretch, but that's a lot of money to keep on your books.
A lot of bread.
To not have it, like, what? You're paying 20 plus mil a year for a guy that's not on your roster for 5 years.
A lot of bread. A lot of bread. A lot of bread. Yeah. It's not taking all that off their books. Like some people are like, it was a good decision though. It's giving them more. I'm like, they still have to pay him. And you got to pay Miles too.
Yeah, no.
Like you made room. It's almost like when your credit card is already over the limit and it still lets you overdraft. That's to me all they did. like you're already over the limit, or you just paid the bill and then you go swipe it again. And you're like, I just put the debt back on there. That's all they did to me. You got rid of Dame and then you just overdrafted some more getting Miles. What money did you release?
Money that you don't got. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. We got some people in the chat saying Bucks lost even if they keep the Greek Freak. Okay, so we got some conflicting opinions there. Bucks won't go back to the finals anytime soon. They should blow it up. That's a hot take, right?
Ooh, I'm with you. I'm with that. It's some, you know what? Yes. We need more blow it up narratives. There are some teams that need to just strip it from its bones, start over again, get some picks for your future, draft well. Everyone needs to take the Sam Presti model. Just take the model. He sat there and said, I got to just strip this thing down. Let me rebuild. What does he go do? Go get SGA. We didn't know SGA was going to be SGA. But what did he also do? He got his future. In that entire trade, the future of the Thunder are just sitting there. And now we see every pick that has made sense. More teams need to do the same thing. At a certain point, you got to sit there and be able to look Giannis in the eye and say, we're not going to be able to give you what you need. I don't think we have enough. It's obvious we don't have enough. Let's do right by you. Give us 2-3 teams you would love to go to. Let's try to get our future back and go ahead and restart this thing on up, because they're not winning anything next year. They're not. I'm not convinced.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Yeah.
Blow it up. I like that.
Hey, shout out the blow it up narrative. We need more of that according to the show. Maverick the Enigma said Clippers should have blown it up too. Lachelle, you agree with that?
Oh, I like Ty Lue. So it's hard for me I trust him as a coach. I don't know if they should have blown it up, but I think there should have been more conversations on splitting Kawhi and James up. Okay. I think you can't have both. I think it sounds good in theory. It's not good in reality. Okay. And I think that should have been more of a conversation, I think, for the Clippers, which was, okay, I don't think they could live in the same ecosystem, not in a playoff run. Season's cute. It looks amazing. Playoffs, we keep seeing the same thing. The same thing happen. It's like, at what point do you get tired of that? We can't keep coming up with excuses. So I don't know, blow it up completely for the rebuild, but I think you should move one of them.
That's fair. I respect that. All right, so that wraps up our little game of winner or loser. And with that being said, we've also seen in this offseason the first 7-team trade in NBA history involving the Suns, the Rockets, the Nets, the Warriors, the Hawks, the Lakers, and the Timberwolves. Lachelle, I want to know, which team has the worst return on the largest trade in NBA history? Chat, I'm going to throw up the tweet from Shams so you can see exactly who we are working with all 7 teams.
Worst return? Oh, I want to say worst return might be Brooklyn. Brooklyn might be up there for me because they only got 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
That's not really a lot. I applaud Minnesota, and another team got cash. I think that was a good move.
Yeah, the Hawks got cash.
That was good for them. Brooklyn didn't get anything out of it. I still just think Phoenix is that organization is just poorly run. So I'm just gonna always say they are the losers in this. Yeah. It's just poorly run. I just don't see it. It doesn't make sense.
Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really understand the rest of these teams in this 7-team trade. You know what? This 7-team trade is just not necessary. Why are this many teams involved in this? It just gives like you just kept adding people to the three-way call. Like you added 2 people and then somebody else added 2 people and then you added someone. It's like, did we really need all this to get done what we got done? Not really.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who do you think won?
One? Let me see the list again. Oh, the Rockets.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the Rockets. I know the cash option was nice, but I mean, what we're looking with the 7-team trade specifically, I mean, KD and Clint Capella, yeah, I think Rockets for sure. The losers, in my opinion, are the Nets, and I would say a close runner-up is the Warriors because I don't even know who those 2 guys are that they got. Respectfully,
why were the Warriors even involved in this? You have bigger things to worry about. Are you keeping Jonathan Kuminga or not? If like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Like, what in this trade? You have no business being in this trade. We have bigger things to talk about. Are you keeping JK or not?
Yeah.
And if you're not, you need to start ringing the phone and getting him up out of there and getting like, what are we doing? What are we doing? See, this is what I mean. Folks was just picking up that 3-way call. They had no reason, no purpose.
And whoever answers, bet. We got him. Hey, sometimes it'd be like that. But I mean, it really isn't, though, because we've never seen a 7-team trade like this. So, you know,
that's too much.
Yeah, it is a lot going on. I don't know if we need to see this again, frankly, but we'll see how it all plays out for all 7 of these teams. Like I said, the Suns, the Rockets, the Nets, the Warriors, the Hawks, the Lakers, and the Timberwolves. There's a lot going on right there. We're going to switch over to the WNBA because guess what? All-Star is coming up, and we got a full roster that dropped earlier today. Chat, I just threw it on the screen for y'all. We knew that CC, Caitlin Clark, and Nafisa Collier were going to be captains this year, and we were waiting to get our reserves, and we got, like I said, the full roster. Of course, with that being said, we need to get some overall thoughts, and the snub conversations come up when these rosters drop as well. So let's dive a little deeper into that. Like I said, reserves are out. Yeah. We also know only one team isn't represented on this list, and that is the Connecticut Sun, who have the worst record in the league at 2-15. So, you know, no surprise that they didn't have any All-Stars. But yeah, overall thoughts. Are we liking this roster? Who do we think are the biggest snubs? Chat, I want to hear your thoughts. Michelle, kick us off.
I like the roster. I don't have too many complaints. I do have one snub, chat, but I will say that I think the roster itself is pretty fair. The starters might be a conversation that people may want to have, which they believe it's more of a popularity contest and not necessarily the, you know, play that is presented that made these players starters. So be it. The snub that I think I have the biggest problem with is Brittany Sykes. I think if you have 2 players from the Mystics that are rookies in Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen, I don't understand how you overlook Brittany Sykes when she's averaging more points than both of them. And in this case for Sonia, because they play guard, more points than her at around 18 points. And I think Sonia has around like 14. I don't really know the conversation around that, which I think is why people are bringing up it's more of a popularity contest, because I think that's very backhanded. Like, you take 2 rookies, but you leave the one vet that has more points than both of them. It's just kind of weird. I think if I was Brittany Sykes, I'd have an uproar about that. I'm not going to lie. I would probably be on Instagram posting my subliminals. Like, I'd be posting my little picture that's like, God is for me. No one could be against me. Like, I would be petty. Chat, I would be on Instagram like, they just trying to deny me my greatness. I'm putting a Drake song up there. Some type of timestamp joint is going up there. That's going to make sure you know how I feel, that I feel I was robbed of being an all-star. Simple. Brittany Sykes should have been an all-star.
No, that's justified, especially, like, not only is she scoring more than Sonia, but she's the leading scorer for the team.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, that was a little disrespectful now.
So, I'm telling you, she should crash out.
Oh.
She should crash out.
Okay.
I actually would. I think she
you
should
would
go on Twitter.
encourage a crash out. Okay.
I mean, because you need to talk about the system. What is the criteria? What is it? What did Isaiah Thomas say on Last Dance? You know, I met the criteria, but it wasn't enough. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I could get why fans are upset though, because they feel like All-Star for the W isn't done fairly, despite them showing the player ranking, the media ranking, you know, the fan ranking, which again, people were in a tizzy about all of that, but it comes a point where you kind of have to refine it. I do think at times it is a popularity contest, but like that's always been All-Star. I think once you open it up to the fans, that's the point. Like they have the ability to go and vote as many times as they want to, and you see what the numbers are, right? But I think for Brittany Sykes, I would be upset. I truly would. I think All-Stars are hard to come by, especially in the W. I think that's something you covet more than anything. And I think when you hear players that aren't All-Stars, like Arike, like people are like, man, Arike didn't make it. You know, she hasn't played great in this season. So it's like, we're so used to seeing her though. You almost kind of get, you know, privileged when you see certain players where like Brittany Sykes is out here hooping and it's like the two rookies get the nod. No diss to them because they deserve it. But it's like, I'm the leading scorer here. Like, where's my All-Star badge?
Yeah.
Crash out, Brittany.
Hey.
Yeah, crash out.
Brittany, if you're watching this, we better see a Twitter rant from you ASAP.
Don't go away quietly. I don't want to see no post on vacation for all. Nah. Let them have it. Tell them how you feel.
Let them know.
Do you have a snub that felt personal to you, or is it Brittany as well?
I agree with you with Brittany. That was definitely my top. I was also going to say Kayla McBride. The Lynx have the best record in the league for a reason, and she's a huge reason why. You can also say the same for Alana Smith because she's been balling as well. But if I had to choose like biggest snub of all time for this year's All-Star, it's definitely Brittany.
For sure.
That was a little disrespectful in my opinion. But I mean, once you open up to fan voting, it is what it is. And, you know, congrats to the rookies that made it. We've got 3 this year. Like you said, Sonia, Kiki, and Paige. So, you know, we hope that they go out there in Indianapolis in a couple weekends and they kill it. You know, they're up there for a reason. So we'll see how it all pans out. But hey, same conversation every year. There's always going to be somebody that we don't agree with. There's always going to be some people that we do agree with. So, you know, it is what it is. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and kick it off to our last segment of the day and my favorite segment of the whole show. The show.
Yes. We're excited. Y'all know what time it is. It's hotline time. Now, look, the number's on the screen. It's also in the chat. I'm going to say it so slow so we're all on the same page. 312 626 6799. And then you're going to enter a code 885 4089 5929 #. See how slow I went for y'all? So you got it audioly. You just heard all that. It's on the screen because I know y'all can read. And it's in the chat. No excuses. Call the hotline. We're ready for your hot takes, questions. Do you have a big W All-Star snub that we didn't talk about? Do you think more teams should blow it up? And if you do think there's a team that should blow it up, please let us know. We want to hear about it. If you kind of have comments about sports betting in the NBA, what do you think penalties should be? Should there be tiers? Should there be like first offense, second offense, third offense? Or, you know, just give us your hot take or opinion on anything that's going on, and we will tell you if it's bad.
Yeah, we've got a caller. All right. Hotline caller number 1. What is your hot take of the week?
Good evening, ladies. Great show again. I wanted to ask you both, who would be your early projections for Rookie of the Year if it's not Cooper Flagg?
Oh. It's not Cooper Flagg.
And do you think Cooper Flagg do you think Cooper Flagg will get Rookie of the Year? And then if there was going to be a candidate for Rookie of the Year outside of Cooper Flagg, who would that be? Firstly, I don't think he'll get Rookie of the Year because he'll have too little of a secondary role in what the Mavericks do this year. So he may not get the touches necessarily in that offense, but I'm just curious to see who would be a dark horse candidate for Rookie of the Year.
Dark horse.
I
might go with VJ. The only reason I'm going to say possibly VJ is because I'm looking at how the Philly system was with Jared McCain and how he started to go off, and he was in big conversations to win Rookie of the Year before his injury. I'm also thinking about like Stephon Castle, kind of the role he was playing with the Spurs, which led him to ended up getting it. So I think I might go VJ. I think depending on how Philly uses him, I think Rookie of the Year is also one of those things where either you have the rookie that's going to score a ton of points, which I think is kind of rare when we kind of watch it. At this point, you are just looking for consistency. So like you look at certain guys' stat lines and it's like, okay, if you're coming off the bench and averaging 15, a lot of the voters are like, oh, that was pretty good. Like, and you're being very active in what you're doing. So I think VJ might be in a good position where he could have a lot of good, valuable minutes where if he takes advantage of it, I could see him being a big dark horse if Cooper doesn't get it. And I think Dylan Harper might be my second one. I think San Antonio is going to use him in a really, really, really special way.
I know.
I like the pick at VJ. Edgecombe was my thought. And then Dylan Harper is a good choice too.
Somebody in the chat said Ace Bailey has the best chance to win Rookie of the Year. If you're looking at odds, he does after Cooper Flag, and then it's Trey Johnson, and then we got Dylan Harper and VJ. So if we're going off of what Vegas is saying, that's what we got. I would honestly say, I know somebody in the chat said Fears. I think that he will be a standout for sure. I just don't know if it will be like enough given the team that he's on to get placed in that conversation, but I'm going to go with him as my pick. But like I said, I just don't, I mean, realistically speaking, because he's on the Pelicans, I just don't think that's like, most likely going to happen for him. But like I said, we've got Cooper as the overwhelming favorite, Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, Dylan Harper, and then VJ Edgecombe. Caller number one, do you have another take for us, or is that your question for the day?
Well, let's see. Okay, I do have another take. Dame Dollar. He's definitely hooked up financially well over the next several years thanks to Milwaukee's waiving of him. Where should Dame Dollar go once he's rehabbed?
Miami.
He'll get his pick of where he wants to go.
Definitely.
He wanted to go to Miami, right?
He wanted Miami originally, and like I think Portland just did not want to give him what he wanted. But I think Pat Riley 100% wanted him, and he wanted to go to Miami. I think Pat is still ecstatic. It's like, oh, now you get to pick where you want to go, unless he changes his mind and he wants to be closer to his kids. I know that was a big deal for him, that he really wants to be closer to his children. I think they said he really kind of was struggling in Milwaukee a lot because, just everything that he was having to do to make sure that he could see his kids. But if he has it depends. I don't know what these players want anymore. I don't know if these players want to win championships anymore, or if they just want to go somewhere that has nice scenery. I have no clue at this point. Like, if I'm Dame, I would want to go to a contender that has a potential if they have the money and they have the space and they want me. I think he said his phone was blowing up with contenders like very, very quickly. So I would love to know who else reached out to him, but I would say Miami. I can see Miami needs something. It's something. Lord have mercy.
Do we see the Nuggets in that conversation?
Oh, I didn't even think about them.
Save money.
What about Minnesota?
That could
be Dame with
Dame
with and Minnesota needs some. They definitely need some outside shooting. Their offense was anemic against OKC, so I think Dame in Minnesota could work.
That is. I don't want to go to Minnesota. I really have a theory that why don't people want to go to Minnesota? Did no one watch? I get it. Ant just lost 2 years in a row. But I feel like if I was a vet out here and I'm like, hey, if everything clicks for him and I could go out there and be who I need to be, we could really find ourselves in the final. I just feel like, do people just not like Minnesota?
Yeah, but otherwise, no.
Oh. Okay, that's why they don't want to go there. Okay, makes more because no one. It's so funny. you don't hear anything in like free agency or any, you have just never heard people really say like in the last 2 years of us watching Ant, we sit here and crown him face of the league. You have heard no one really say, oh, I want to go to Minnesota and play with him. KD sat there and said, no, do not send, I don't want to go there. Like, is it really, it's
some
just
markets are always going to struggle. Some markets will always struggle because of climate.
Yeah, that's a good point. Dang.
I mean, if you're, I mean, you know, in that part of the country, it's not ideal weather. The odds of a championship might be there, but you know, quality of life and overall desire that could play a factor.
I could definitely see that. So that means we should all agree Dame's going to Miami.
No sales tax or state income tax in Florida.
That helps too, for sure. And then that's where he wanted to go. He has a choice. Like, I think it makes the most sense. Or
put him in warm weather. Go make a track with Rick Ross.
Oh God. I don't know if
there's another reason his music career.
all the studios are there. Look.
Oh no, he could do all the collabs.
It's perfect for him.
Hey, it might be. It might be. Thank you, caller number 1, for joining us.
No problem.
Do we have a caller number 2?
Those are such great questions. Those are really good.
Those were good questions.
Yeah, because that got me thinking about Minnesota.
Yeah, where should Dame go in
Rookie of the year?
Yeah, early picks for Rookie of the year. Let's see what chat said. Chat, Dame to the Mavs, move Kyrie to the 2. I
don't know about that one.
Yeah,
I would move Dame to the 2 before I move Kai to the 2.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think he has any interest in going to Dallas either. Dame will only choose Miami if that's where he wants to retire, regardless if they win a ring or not.
The Dame one is definitely going to make me the Rookie of the Year one too. I'm like, I was already watching Summer League a little bit yesterday, but man, I don't know. That's a tough one. If it's not, that's a good way to put it. If you can't pick Coop, like that changes, I think, how you look at Rookie of the Year. Like you would actually have to assess everyone so vastly differently. Like it's like, oh, if he's not getting it, it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Like what would be our, like, I guess, benchmark for someone who deserves Rookie of the Year? Dang.
Hey, we're gonna have to wait and see Summer League, because I mean that's really ultimately going to determine these answers, because we haven't had the chance to see anybody play yet. So it's kind of hard to, you know, make a sound decision without seeing how these guys fit into the teams and, you know, some of the coaches. I know it's not the same setup and you're not playing with the rosters that they're ultimately going to play with, you know, during the regular season, but it still gives us a little bit of insight. So I think after, you know, July 22nd is when Summer League wraps. After that, we'll probably have a little bit better estimate of who we could realistically see in that conversation if it is not Coop. But like I said, odds have Coop as the overwhelming favorite, despite what, you know, we think. That's what Vegas is saying. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this hotline segment for tonight. Thank you to our caller for dropping those 2 takes of the week. It was a pleasure. Week 5, week 6 of the stream. We've been streaming for some time now. We've been streaming for some time now. W's in the chat for another great show. And you know, if you missed part of the stream tonight, that's okay, because you can watch it again tomorrow. Every episode is posted on YouTube on Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific. But of course, we want you to join us live on Twitch every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. The live is the best part. You get to call in, you get to talk to us. And yeah, we have another, like I said, W stream. Dubs in the chat for all of our good commentary. We appreciate y'all as always. And join us next week, and we might have a little bit different stream. Like I said, it is Summer League. I'll be out in Vegas. Lachelle might be out in Vegas. We might have another guest on. We'll see. You never know what can happen.
Never know. Full of surprises.
I think I'll probably be doing a stream regardless, just to show you sights and sounds, a little behind the scenes of what goes down at Summer League. But yeah, like I said, we'll be here for another episode of Off the Record next week, and regardless. So we can't wait to see y'all then. But until, we out.